Fortnite's endgames are really messy. And today I'm going to give you all of the tips and tricks on how to master getting through a competitive endgame in Fortnite Season 4. So if you could please subscribe, that would help me out a ton, and now let's get onto the video. Now the reason it is so important to master endgame is because most of your placement points in tournaments or percentage in rank just comes from endgame placement, to the point where you can do relatively well just from being in endgame. My first major tip is staying on the same layer. Keeping your own layer that is uncongested is really great, as you have your own room to build and move around where you need, and you can slowly push into zone with no real threat. The most ideal layer is above low ground. I'd recommend 2 to 3 layers just above low ground is probably the sweet spot in most tournaments. But if there is little to no one on there, it's just really easy just to find space in any layer. You just want to look for somewhere which is pretty uncongested and kind of claim it as your own while using as minimal mats as you can. My second tip is not overbuilding unless it's necessary. If you're not getting as many kills, it is important to save your mats in order to make sure that you have enough to survive the rest of the match, as you cannot just simply jump out and farm more like you can in mid game or early game. The only way you can get mats is just getting them from refreshes. So you can't just spam all your builds the entire time at endgame. You have to learn how to preserve pretty much everything you have, from mats to ammo to heals, everything. These next 2 tips are related to how you should fight in endgame. And picking fights that are within your layer or below gives you an advantage. You should be attacking someone who you know that is low, or that you know you could beat, as it's harder for them to retaliate back if you're above them because you have better angles. The only purpose you should be fighting someone is if you need a refresh, not just out of pure boredom. So if you're low on mats or low on heals, or you need some and you don't think you're going to be able to win without them, that's when you should be going for a refresh. If you aren't fighting for this reason, you just don't need to do it, and you just need to move with zone. And say you don't have enough mats, then you should go fight, but then you could just keep preserving your mats and top your way in and you should be fine. My 4th quick tip is to keep an eye on your resources. If you're getting low on ammo or builds, this is when you should be looking at your options for a refresh to see where you can find someone and take the fight when you have the biggest advantage possible. You should try to get yourself into a habit of just mindlessly checking to see if you're low on mats or ammo whenever you're in endgame, even though it is pretty stressful. If you can get into a habit of just checking that every now and then, it will make sure that when you do take a fight or you do have to quickly build, you won't just be running out of everything. Hopefully these tips helped you guys out, and if they did or you want to see more, please subscribe and have a good one.